and welcome to Play and Learn. I'm Dr. Susan, and today we're going to look at how good trees are. So we have a story that's about a tree. So it's a fun story, so let's sit down and we'll listen to the story, and then we will go on and see how we can create something that'll remind us about all the goodness that's in trees. All right? So let's get started. All right. The Tree of Goodness. And the story is by Andrew Newman, and it's illustrated by Marcela Morales. And it's a really cute story. Sometimes the pictures might be a little bit dark, but we'll get the gist of the story anyway. All right. A goodness question. What makes a tree good? Well, he looks pretty good, doesn't he? It's got leaves, got good color. Is a tree good because it makes us wood or shade to enjoy a picnic? Is a tree good because it makes a chair where we can rest our derrieres? That's bottom, just in case you didn't know that. Is a tree good because it makes us fire that warms and cooks when we tire? No, that's not what makes a tree good. A tree is made out of good. It starts as a seed, sprouts tiny roots, branches, and leaves. There's the seed of the tree. The good becomes wood that grows tall or blends standing alone or with a few friends, and they're all good. Sometimes it's leafy or knotted with bumps. Often it kinks and has a few lumps. But that's okay. Look how smiley he is. A tree is good without any reason. Flowers or leaves, no matter the season. What makes a tree good? The answer is this. A tree is good just how it is. What makes a tree good? The answer is just how it is, just in case we forgot. Look, it even has branches that has a place for pigeons or birds to stand and squirrels to hide their nuts that they gathered for their food. Isn't that cool? I wonder if they store their nuts in the tree so that they have a nice place to keep them for when they get hungry. It's the end. All right, so now let's take a look at the purpose of a tree. And we're going to compare the purpose of a tree to what we do and what we think and what we have as a purpose. The tree's purpose we got a whole list, and we'll go over that list while we're going to create a tree today. And this tree is something that you can play with, or you can set it up in your room to remind you of all the great things that a tree does for us and how we do some of the things that the tree does. That's going to be interesting, right? We'll have to figure that out. All right. What we needed today was some cardstock to make some leaves, and also I found some picture magazines that I had cut up some cardstock that I made some leaves out of too, just to give it a little extra color. So we're going to color our tree branches or our tree out of with pastel crayons. They look like this, and they dry pretty quick. We don't have to worry about paint and things like that. So now I made the pattern tree, and the tree pattern looks like this, big tree, and we cut two pieces. I'm going to put it so that you can see it. The tree, they're identical. One has a slit at the bottom, and the other one has a slit at the top. And That's how we put it together. So I'll show you that. So we're going to create the tree first, and we'll chit-chat about some of the things about what trees do while we're doing that. And then we're going to be putting some things on the leaves. And maybe we'll do the leaves first. That's a good idea. Let's do that first, and then we'll get back to decorating and coloring our tree, and I can show you how it goes together. So we have all these leaves, and they're different sizes and different shapes. Of course, I know kind of one kind of leaf, but ours is special. Ours is a very unique tree. And just as we are very special and we are unique. So our tree is going to be the same way. It will be special and unique. So we have all these leaves. And some of the things that the tree did, it talked about it in the story, and some of the things that the tree does for us is it creates shade. So we're going to write shade on this one leaf in big letters. So one of the things that the tree gives us is shade. So that's that one. And then the other thing that the tree gives us is wood. We wouldn't be able to have a fireplace or a fire in our fireplace without wood, would we? Would we? And that comes out of a tree. The tree is grown for wood. So there's wood. Trying to find the best pen. Here we go. I think I found a good one. And some of the other things that the tree does is it makes, when you take the wood and put fire on it, it burns and it creates warmth. It creates a space for us to be warm. So we'll go write that on the leaf. Warm. And also it talked about the fact that once you have a fire, you can even roast marshmallows if you want to, or you hamburgers and hot dogs, and sometimes you can even, if mom and dad have the wood barbecue, you can make all kinds of things, even in pots that you would sit on top of the grill, and you could cook sauces and things like that. So you can make all kinds of good things on an outside fire. So we're going to put cook. You can cook from the wood, so to make food. You can do that. You can cook. It offers shade and wood. And what other things did it talk about? One of the big words that it used through the story was the tree is good. No matter what, it's good. So we're going to put a couple of leaves and just write on them. We're going to do that in a couple of spaces. So we're going to write there's one. And we'll do a yellow one too that says good, because the tree is. And it's good if it stands alone or it stands with a group of trees. It doesn't matter. So it can be alone too. And it can still throw off shade, be wood to cook with, and those things, even if it's all by itself. It can still do all of those things. And the other thing that trees do is they absorb carbon dioxide, which is something that we give out when we breathe, and it gives back oxygen to the planet. So it kind of circulates our air. So that's a really important thing that a tree does for us in a scientific way. I don't know if the tree knows it does that. I think it does. So that it does that so that we have fresh air and fresh oxygen to breathe. So I'm going to write oxygen on one of these leaves. And that's why it's good to have trees around. So oxygen, that's one of the other things that the tree gives to us. The other thing that the tree gives to us, and sometimes, well, I guess sometimes we think about it, maybe sometimes we don't, but have you ever gone to the sequoias, or it's called Yosemite in California, and they have trees that are so tall you can't see the top of them, and they're absolutely beautiful. So what the tree also offers us is something beautiful to look at. So the tree is beauty. So we're going to write beauty on one of the leaves too. So we'll write beauty on this one. So the tree gives us that too. So it gives us something visual to look at. And sometimes in your backyards, or maybe your friends, they might have trees you can climb on. You'd be able to climb on the branches because they're very big and they're very strong. And you can actually go and climb on the trees if it's okay with the parents. And of course, that you're very careful because you could fall and that would not be a good thing. So you can also climb on a tree. And the other thing you can do with the tree, if the tree is big and it has big, thick branches that can hold a lot of weight, Mom or Dad, they can make a swing out of a rope and a piece of wood. You can have a rope swing in your tree if your tree is tall enough and heavy and big enough. So you could have fun with the tree. So you could swing in the tree. Also, you could probably swing from the branches with just your hands, but I'm thinking you probably need gloves on so you don't hurt your hands. But you could swing in the tree. So the tree is also another thing that you can play. You can play on the tree. Okay, you can play on the tree. And I'm going to put swing too, because that's kind of fun. You can swing on the tree. Now, not all trees do this, but a good portion of them. They grow some of our food. You've ever seen an apple tree, and a pear tree, and a lemon tree, and there's just all kinds of trees, apricots, peaches. So we get a lot of our food from a tree too. And that, of course, that depends on where they are. Those are called orchards. There's an apple orchard, a peach orchard, pears, just all kinds of trees that create and develop food for us. So that's another wonderful thing that trees offer and give to us. So they also create food. So I'm going to put food on this one. I don't think we wrote that one. No, we didn't. So there's food, like that. So there's food that the tree does. Let's see. And one of the important things that it said in the story about a tree doesn't worry about whether it's got bumpy or naughty little holes on their trunks, or the bark is crooked or anything like that. It doesn't care. It knows it's beautiful and it's there for a purpose, and it creates and does its purpose. And it doesn't really care of what it kind of looks like, even if it has no leaves or some leaves, maybe green, sometimes yellow, sometimes orange. And that's the other wonderful thing about the beauty of trees, is depending on the season that we're in. Like the wintertime, some of the trees, not all of them, some of the trees drop their leaves and they don't have any leaves at all. It's just the stick, and the tree doesn't look really like it's not feeling well or something because it has no leaves. But it's just dormant for the winter, and the leaves are redeveloping in the branches, and they come out in the spring. So it doesn't matter whether it has leaves on it or not. It's still beautiful anytime during the year, because you know what the potential of the tree is, of what it can do and what it can develop. So we've got a whole list of those things. I have a few extra leaves here, but that's okay. We got a good start. Maybe you can think of something else that a tree does for us. They can be in a forest. They can be standing all by themselves. And, the one other thing that it does, it tells us when the wind's blowing if you can't feel it. If you're inside, would you know it's a windy day outside if you didn't see the trees, branches going back and forth like this? Would you know it's windy outside? Maybe not. So it's a good way to tell the weather. Just look at the tree. It can tell you whether it's windy, and you can decide what kind of clothes you need to wear if it's windy outside, whether it's in the winter or the summer or the spring. And the spring is when all of the birds land in the trees. That's the other thing. It's home for animals. There's, I know, squirrels, and there's birds, and there's owls, and there's all kinds of animals that live in the trees. So it also could be a home for an animal. I think we need to put down home, being home for all kinds of things. So let's put down home for the animals that like to live in the trees. So that's pretty important. Gives them places to be, and to be able to grow and raise their babies and things like that. So we have our leaves for the tree, for this side. Now I'm going to show you, I showed you how I cut out the tree itself. You can make a little tree or a big tree, whichever you want. So, and I have the one slit at the bottom and one slit at the top. But right now I want to give it some color. It's a little on the dull side. So we're going to move our leaves over here a little bit. Put those there. And I'm going to use probably a couple of different shades. We'll do the trunk first. So we're just using, it's like a crayon, but it's oils. It's really fun to color with. So we're just going to color the branches. And the cardboard's kind of neat that I cut it out of, because what it does is it has texture, which means it's kind of bumpy, and it makes ridges. So it looks like the ridges are the bark on a tree, on the actual tree that it grows. So we're just going to do that on both sides. I don't have to do it really completely, because then you get to do that when you make yours. Just ask Mom and Dad to get a cardboard box and to cut the tree apart for you. Now you can, if you want to, you can draw branches inside this part like that. This is the branches on the inside, like that. Okay, and we're going to flip it over, and we're going to do the same thing. The one thing you'll notice is that this side is a little smoother. This side is even bumpier, so it makes it even cooler. So it makes it different kind of ridges. So depending on the kind of box that you cut your tree out of, how the trunk and the branches and stuff are going to look. So I'm going to color this really quickly, like that. And I know we're going to put leaves on the tree. Look at this one. Isn't that cool? It looks like honeycomb. Look at that. That's really kind of a cool texture. But you can get all kinds of different boxes, and you can have an amazing kind of a tree, you know? So that's our fun creativity that we get to have. And we get to play with our imagination, too, with our trees. So anyway, there we go. There's our trunk. And we'll put our branches on this side, too. See, look, that's all looks like digital lines for our tree branches. That's very cool. So we're going to set that one aside, and we're going to do the other one really quick. So I got both sides of that. Set that over there. And this is smooth part again. So we're going to go up and down this one. And you can go lightly or you can go really heavy. It depends on what you like to do. That's the cool part of being able to make something fun. Okay? So now we're just going to go across this way. Like that. Doesn't really matter which way you go with the crayon, the oil crayon either, because it has the cardboard ridges. Like that. Okay, we'll put the branches in on this one too. That. Now, one of the other things you might want to do that would be kind of fun, but I know we wouldn't have enough time for it to dry. But if you take tissue paper, if you got brown tissue paper, and you took the tissue paper and made it in a long length, you know, about this long, and you probably about this wide, like a big piece of paper, and you rolled it really tight and just twisted it like this. I didn't bring any with me. I should have done that. Let me see if I can kind of show you with the paper towel. But we'd crunch the tissue paper up like this, really tight, and then just roll it like this. Okay? See how that, just roll it like that. Now, of course, this is tissue paper, so it's a lot thinner than this paper towel. And then you can, if you want to make it more texture of your tree, then you can just glue the branches on so that they actually stick out. So that would be kind of cool too. But I didn't think about that this morning. I didn't bring the tissue paper to show you how to do that. But you can do that with it too and give it a big different texture. And that's kind of a fun thing to do if you want to add a little bit more pizzazz to your tree. Okay? So we're going to add. So these branches here would be out of the tissue paper, and they would kind of stand out a little bit, make it more like three-dimensional. Okay? All right. So there is both sides of our trees, and we did all of them. There's all four sides. Okay, now, put that away. Now we're going to put, well, let's see. I think we'll put the color on because it makes it difficult when it's all together. So even though we're going to put leaves over top of where our branches are, we're going to add a little bit of color to the tree. And you're going to get the same kind of effect. I'll move it down here so you can see what I'm doing. You can do it in circles like this, or you can do it in waves. You can make it however you want. You can just do like scribbles too. And then you'll see the leaf branches underneath it. Okay, like that. And it adds a little bit more texture. And of course, this is really different because you get the texture from the cardboard that I cut the tree out of. So you see how I'm doing that. You just use the different colors. So there's that color so far. And I might want to make it look a little lighter with the other colors. Because trees, if you look at the leaves on a tree, I don't think there's the same color on each leaf. I think each leaf is different and unique, just like each one of us is different and unique. So you can mix the colors to give it different color. Okay, like that. So you can put as much of that on your tree as you'd like. Even though you're going to put other leaves on top of it, it'll be little splotches of color where the leaves don't cover it. All right, there's that side. And now we're going to see how this side looks. Look at this side. This is really cool. It also looks like honeycomb. See how that looks? That's very cool. And that's simply because of the cardboard. And you can cut it out of poster board that's all smooth, and then it would be all smooth. You could do that too. It's up to whatever you'd like to do. That's the cool part about being unique and doing things, however you would like to do them, because it creates all different kinds of designs and textures and things that we make. So there's another part of the tree. And I know my grandsons, Dominic and Finn and Patrick, they like to create all kinds of fun stuff. And I know they love to color. So this is one of their favorite pastimes, is doing that. Okay, now, so we're going to switch to this one. And this one I think I'll use a different green. This is kind of a blue-green, but that's teal. We don't want to use that one. That makes it too green. This one's probably better. Not much. But anyway, we'll do a little bit of this one. It's still green on this side. And you can do, like I said, you can just do it any way you want. Now, you don't even have to put color on this part if you don't really want to. That's totally up to whatever you'd like to do. It doesn't have to be that way. That's the cool part of being able to create and be creative in the way that you want to do it. So there's this. So there's our tree. And you notice too on the storybook, it showed where the tree started out as a little tiny, teeny, tiny seed. Can you imagine if you've ever been to the Redwoods or Yosemite or any of those places, or even out on your own street, the huge tree that you may have in your yard, that when it first started out was just a little tiny seed like that. Just a little tiny thing like that. And look what it grew into. It's just absolutely amazing. And inside that little seed knew that it was going to grow and be this huge tree that you could put a swing on and you could climb it, or it could be developed and used for building houses and making bridges and doing all those amazing things. And then the trees do, in their season, they create seeds, and then the seeds get blown to different other parts of the city they live in, the city the tree is growing in, or wherever. And birds pick up the seeds, take the seeds too, like walnut trees, that's from the walnuts. And those are seeds, and they plant, and that's where trees came from. They're all over the place. And it wasn't that some person went out and planted a seed in a hole just to grow that one tree. The animals help do that. They help get the trees growing all over the place. All right, so we have our tree, and now we're going to make our tree. So I take the one, doesn't matter which direction you go in, either one, and you slide it down the two slits, like that. And we have created our tree. So I want to use some tape just to kind of hold it together here at the top because it's big. So we're just going to take some tape and just kind of put it like that. I don't know how much it's going to like to stick on the ink we just used, but we'll see. You can always use glue too. You can use glue to glue the tree if you'd like to do that too. We have that option. We can use glue. Or if mom and dad are around and they're helping you create this tree, they can use a glue gun too. But that's something mom and dad would do for you. It's not something that would be safe for you to use. Okay? Of course, unless Mom and Dad has taught you how to do that. But that's just something we want to be very careful with. So we're going to take the tape and just do that. And before we decorate our tree and give it some leaves, we're going to need to put it someplace so it's not sliding all over the place like it is right this second. Okay, so I've got this down here. I'm going to put some tape right there. This side. Like I said, it doesn't want to stick on my ink that I put on there. Okay, but we'll work that out. I'll put some more down here later. Okay, all right, now, I have this, this is a drain pan that they use for when Mom and Dad pot plants, things like that. So I got that, and I cut the branches, the stand at the bottom so that they would fit inside this, like that. Now, of course, if we move this, it's going to go falling over. So I thought, well, how about we take some rocks, and we add some rocks to the base of our tree. And one of the other fun things you can do if you want to make this a permanent thing is that you can take these rocks and you can use your Sharpies, if you have Sharpie pens, or paint, and you can paint your rocks and make a rock garden at the base of your tree. See, then we'll turn it. And now the tree's a little more stable. It's not going to fall over too easily. So we're just putting just a bunch of little rocks down at the bottom, and that's holding our tree up. So, and here's a few more, like this, and then you can spread the branches out however you'd like. Need to tape this one down here. It needs some tape, but it'll be okay for right now. All right, so we're going to do that. Put that there. So, now we have a three-dimensional tree. Now here comes the fun part. Okay, so we'll move this out of the way. So now we have our tree that looks like this. Okay? There's your different branches. You can see it from all the different views. All right? Now we're going to take the tree, and if you want to use your tree for something else at a later time, you can use a double stick tape to put your leaves on. I'm going to use just a glue stick to put them on. And on 3 sides, we have 6 sides, 2, 4, 8 actually. We're going to add the leaves that we wrote the words on. This one says beauty. So we're going to put some glue stick on the back of the tree, the leaf. And I'm going to sit here so you can see, like this. So we're going to just put that one there. Doesn't have to be in any particular order. And this is the one that says oxygen. It's one of the things that a tree creates. So there's oxygen, so you can see. There's the oxygen. And trees can be all alone and still have lots of company. And they would have company because of the animals. And if they're a fruit tree, they would have people that would come by and pick their fruit so that more fruit continues to grow. Because if it gets so covered with fruit, you can't, and it hasn't been picked, it doesn't grow any more fruit. So this says cook. See, so you can see how you can see the colors under the tree too. And these are some more of the things that the tree gives us. I'm going to put shade over here. So you can just decorate this all the way around, however you want to do that. All right. Now, if you get really creative, and you'll have fun drawing and making pictures and stuff, you might want to do a squirrel and put a squirrel there. Or if you like owls, you could do a branch and put an owl in there too, because owls live in trees. So there's another thing that you can do to make this really kind of cool. And if you really want, you can put a couple holes down here and make a swing. I didn't think about doing that till just now. See the things you think about when you're making something? Think, oh, this is a good idea, and this is a good idea. Okay, so we're going to turn this around here a little bit like this. And I have more things to show you that I'm going to put on the tree. But we're going to talk about one more part of it. not just the tree, but one more part of this idea that we've got going here. So we'll put good right there. And then we'll add a couple more on this side. So we have a few leaves. It's not perfectly covered, but that's all right. Okay, so we got food there. And we have wood here. So you see, it's not hard to make a tree. It's kind of easy. And the pattern, this is my pattern. You can create the pattern however you want. Just draw it on a piece of cardboard and then just do another, cut it out and then lay the other one on the other piece of cardboard and cut it out the same way. You just have to make a slit at the top and a slit at the bottom. On one at the top on one and one at the bottom on the other. All right, and then I found, which I thought was really cool, and I'm going to add these and then we're going to go to the next part. These are just pretty pictures that were glued on cardstock that I liked, and I just traced them out like a tree, like a leaf, and I just put them on because I like to add a little extra color. And the pictures are all kinds of things, but because of the way I cut them out, they don't necessarily look like any particular thing. It's like this one I think is a sunset, as you can see that tree, that leaf. It looks like a sunset. So I did that one. So I'll put that over here. So we'll turn these again so you can see that. Oops. Piece is coming apart. I think we need to fix that. So we'll put this one over here like that. And we'll do one more. And then we're going to go on to the next part of how we are like a tree. Did you know that? Now, there's a bird. There's a parrot. That's that face on that one. All right, now we're going to go over here for just a minute, set this back here so you can still kind of look at it. And we're going to do one more part. The other part, I have these other leaves. They're a little bit different than the ones we just put on. There's, different kind of leaves. And this is like a heart leaf, which I think was kind of fun. I have several of those. So we have these. Now these leaves here are going to represent us because we have trees. We have all kinds of things in nature that we need to get along with. We need to know how to take care of it so that it knows how to take care of us. So the idea is to, as we take care of ourselves and we grow and we produce and we do things and we make differences as our communities, just as the tree does. The tree makes a difference in our community too, especially if they're fruit trees. They help feed our communities, and that's part of us. So our way of giving back is taking care of the trees, because the tree is taking care of you. It's helping you breathe each and every day because it gives you oxygen to breathe. So the more trees you have, the more clear, clean oxygen that you have around you. So we have to be sure to take care of our tree. But I wanted us to look at the idea of how we are very much like the tree. Okay? So I'm going to have, if you think about it, maybe you can think while I know you can't tell me anything right now, but if you want to make a tree, you can make little notes for yourself so you know what to put on your tree. But just in the story of what the story gave is that we use the wood in which, like this is a wood table, and look what it's getting to do for us. So we use the materials that the tree produces for us. So one of the things that I thought was important to remember about how we use the trees and the trees serve us, we have to give and take, is that we are respectful. Put respect down here. Respectful of the tree. Respectful for what it gives us and that we give back. One of the things, we're respectful. We also take care. If you happen to own an orchard, or your family does, and that's where the fruit comes from and the trees, is that you get to help take care of them. So we get to be watchful for them. We make sure that they don't get bugs and they don't get things that aren't going to help them grow, and that they get enough nutrients in the ground and the soil, and that they get enough care from us because they give to us and we want to give back. So we care. So we want to be caring for the trees as they care for us. They care for us by giving us shade and giving us wood for fire and food and that kind of thing. Now, a tree doesn't go moving around, but we do, so that no matter where we go and the things that we see, we can be sure that's one of the things that we know that we need to take care of. It's what they call a natural resource. And so we want to be sure to do that. So now we have that. So that's being respectful for caring. Now, don't we do the same thing for people? For our families and our friends, and just sometimes even just a stranger, by opening up the door, just saying thank you if they open the door for you. That's being respectful and caring by showing them the respect that because they're simply here. And we would want the same thing for ourselves. So tree does too. It can't move and it can't talk, but it certainly says a whole lot by what it does. So we take that. So let's see, what are the other things? Do we appreciate the beauty that a tree has? I think that might be something about us too, is that we know how to take care of things, excuse me, that are beautiful. We take care of things even if they aren't beautiful. We take care of the ground and the dirt and stuff like that, and it's not necessarily pretty, but we still take care of it. So we admire their beauty. So I'm going to write that, admire beauty. So that's one of the things, and we know that that happens for us too. Let's see. What are some of the other things that we do? We could care for the trees by be sure if we work in or our families are associated with farms, that we be sure to pick the fruit when it's ready to pick so that it can be used to produce food. And, do you ever think about the apricot jelly or jam that you eat? If you eat that, it came from a tree. Pears that you eat, that came from a tree. So we appreciate that. And we do that by using our natural resources. And we do that by being and eating healthy so that we can be around to help take care of them. Okay? So our health, that's important. We have to be important for our tree's health too. Want to make sure it doesn't get any of those bugs and stuff like that. It isn't good for it, right? Okay, so health is another part of it. And one of the things too that it's important for us to do is we need to drink water. Water helps keep our body cleansed and taken care of. Same thing with the tree. It needs water too. So I'm going to put down water. These are things that are very similar between the two of us, the tree and ourselves. Water, that's very important. Now, I know on trees and things that are in orchards and stuff that people that own the property and that take care of the trees are very careful to make sure that they have enough nutrients in the soil, because they use a lot of nutrients when they get taller and when they produce fruit. So one of the other ways is we have food too, right? We eat the fruit and we take care of ourselves by that. So that's very similar and the same for us. So we put food down too. Now the other parts too that we use from the tree that we give back and forth is the warmth. We receive a lot of warmth from the tree, especially if we're sitting in front of a fireplace or we're roasting marshmallows, that the wood is burning and that's what's making the fuel in order to cook the marshmallows. So we want to put down what they give us for that. Another thing that's really important that they give us is our houses that we live in, because houses are made out of wood. It's not necessarily the wood you can see, but when they build the outside of a house, they build a house, before they put the walls up, they put the boards on the walls, there's frames. The framework of the house is made out of wood. So they also give us a home. They help create our homes. So, and we appreciate and love our homes the same way we appreciate and love the wood and the trees that give us the home that we live in. So there's the home. Let's see, what else can we think of that relates to us that we need just as much as the tree needs things? And nature takes care of itself. It knows what to produce and what to give and things like that. Sometimes we have to go a little bit further out than that. We have to go out and make sure we get our food and things like that. The tree takes it from the soil that it lives in. So we have to think about that too. So we're going to go ahead, and I'm going to, and maybe if you want to make this project, then you can do that, and you can think of lots of other things that can go on the tree. So we're going to go ahead and put these on the tree. These are the ways in which we are very similar, and that we give and we also take. And we want to give back as much as we take. So we're going to put these things, and we appreciate the fact that they give the wood that's from the tree and help create our homes. And that water is very important to a tree, and it's very important to us. So we're going to add that leaf over here. And that it's important for us to stay healthy, and it's important to keep the trees healthy, because they continue to produce the food that we eat. They produce the wood that our homes are built with. They produce the shade that we sit under when we go on picnics, especially if you go to the park. The park makes lots of shade, right? So that's admiring the beauty of the tree when we get to go appreciate what it offers us. So in caring, not only for ourselves, but our trees and our environment. We're going to put some leaves over here. We don't have a lot of leaves on this side. And our environment. So this is respectful. So we respect the trees, we respect the environment in which they grow in, and we respect ourselves. See how that all kind of goes hand in hand, which makes a big difference in our communities and in how we live together. It's always a give, and we're always giving something, and we're always receiving something. So that's the giving and the receiving things that are really important, and nature is a huge, huge part of that. So that's one of our jobs, is to remember that that is something that we can do to make a difference. And we don't need, put our other leaf back up there. No, our swing. Heavens, we don't want our swing to fall off. So there's our swing, where we can have fun and do things together. Did you ever play hide and seek? Did you ever play hide and seek in your backyard with your sisters, your brothers, or your friends? And a lot of times we can hide behind the trees, because trees are a lot bigger than us. So they're a source of fun. And we want to be sure that we take good care of them. And by taking good care of our trees, we take good care of ourselves. They care for us, and we care for them. And a tree is good all the time, just as we are good all the time. Everything that we think, we say, and we do makes a difference. So we want to be sure that that's where we focus our attention on making a difference for ourselves and for our communities and for our trees, and have deep gratitude for what they give us and what we can give back in caring for them. So this is our tree. So I'll take a visit around so you can see. So there's that part. So we put words on our tree to tell us about what our trees give to us, how we can give back to our trees, and show them and we appreciate what the tree does for us. And know that when we care for our resources and we care for ourselves, we grow beautiful, beautiful things. So if you enjoy the project and you'd like to do that, the supplies are easy. Doesn't have to be a plastic tray. It can be anything you have at home. And create it however you want to create it. But these are my ideas, and I offer them to you. So you can play with them and do whatever you'd like. Thank you very much for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you again, and you have a great rest of the day. Take care.